Loss is a part of life, but sometimes after a loss, whether it's death or a breakup or a job, the sadness feels so heavy that we can start to wonder, is this just grief, or have I fallen into clinical depression? In the therapy world, these two things can look identical. They both involve crying, they both involve sleep changes, and a loss of interest in the world. But treating grief like depression or ignoring depression because you think it's just grief can stop your healing in its tracks. Today, we're going to look at how to tell the difference. The first major difference is the flow of emotion, because grief usually comes in waves. Think about sitting at a beach on the sand and watching the waves come in. That's typically grief. You might have a moment of intense crying and then an hour later see a funny meme or something that makes you actually laugh. You can experience these islands of pleasure. Depression, on the other hand, is more like a constant fog. If you're a gamer, I want you to think of Silent Hill. It's pervasive, and it does not care if you're at a party or a funeral. The emptiness is flat and unchanging. In depression, the inability to feel any joy is what we call anhedonia. Now, let's look at where your thoughts are pointing. In grief, the sadness is fixed on the loss. You're thinking about the person you missed, the future you lost, or the memories you have. The pain is outside of you. In depression, the sadness turns inward. It's not just, I miss them. It's, I'm worthless. I'm a failure. The world is better off without me in it. Grief doesn't usually destroy your self-esteem, but depression almost always does. And this might sound strange, but look for the bittersweet. A person in deep grief can often sit around a table and tell funny stories about the person that they lost, or the dog that they lost, or the cat that they lost. They can experience humor through the pain. A person in clinical depression often feels a sense of emotional numbness. Even when something objectively funny happens, they feel disconnected from it, as if they were watching life through a thick pane of glass or art that does not have its color anymore. If you're grieving, your brain naturally oscillates. In oscillation, I want you to think of like a fan that goes this way, and then that way, and then back again, right? That's what oscillation means. 1 minute, you're crying. That's what we call loss-oriented. The next minute, you're focused on what's for dinner or I need to fix the sink. That's called restoration-oriented. This oscillation is healthy. If you find that you are stuck only in the loss, or if the feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness are getting stronger every day, it might be time to speak to a professional. Depression isn't something you can just grieve your way out of. It often requires specific therapeutic tools to kind of get yourself re-regulated. And I want to make sure I assure you of this. There is no right way to grieve, and there is no shame in being depressed. Both deserve your compassion. If this helped you understand your own process a bit better, please leave a heart in the comments or feel free to share your story if you feel safe doing so. I've linked some grief and depression resources in the description below. Remember, you don't have to carry the fog alone, and I'll see you next time.